YouTube? Welcome to Guitar Vocalist, the channel that's all about singing and playing guitar at the same time and just being a confident, self-reliant musician. So if you're new here and you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of it. It's a great way, easy way to just support the channel, support what I'm doing. So today I'm putting down the guitar and I just want to kind of talk conceptually a little bit. I'm going to be talking about what kind of guitar you should start with, acoustic guitar or electric guitar whenever you want to buy your first guitar. Now, I personally started on an acoustic guitar. It wasn't really, I didn't really have a choice. My parents just bought me an acoustic, but I just really wanted a guitar, so I was happy. But I did buy an electric within 6 months. So, yeah, basically, I'm going to just talk about the pros and cons. There is no right answer. It's really about what you want at the end of the day, but maybe this can kind of help guide you a little bit. So first I'm going to start talking about the pros and cons, okay, of each. The pros for acoustic are you have a nice clean sound, and at the beginning you don't get caught up with effects, with amps, with things like that. You just have a clean guitar and that's it, which is pretty useful for starting out. You don't have distractions. Also, an acoustic guitar is cheaper. Maybe you're not sure if you want to get into guitar, maybe you just want to try it, or if you're buying this for somebody else, maybe they won't want to keep doing it. So you could just get a nice cheap beginner quality. Get a quality one still. Don't get one of those like $30 Walmart ones. But like get like a decent guitar for let's say 100 to 200, something like that. And then you could just start with that. You don't need an amp, you don't need anything else. So it's cheaper. And another reason for an acoustic is it might just be all you need. Depending on the style of music you want to play and what kind of musician you want to be. Maybe you just want to play the campfire, you know? Then if that's all you want to do, then that's perfectly fine. So just get an acoustic. You just don't need an electric then. It's just too much stuff. Now for the cons for an acoustic, it is more limiting. Of course, you can't alter your sound as much. You can't do as many effects, even though there are acoustic electric guitars as well where you can add some effects, but the electric guitar gives you more options for that. You only have access to a few frets. Maybe if you have a cutaway, you have access to like, I don't know, fret 20 or something, but with an electric guitar you have access to all 24 frets, so or 22 frets depending on the model you have. So it gives you a little bit more freedom. Also, for an electric guitar, the strings are sort of easier to bend and play. Like, it's easier to press on the frets on electric guitar strings, which might be easier for a beginner. It's another plus. Which kind of leads me to the pros for electric versus acoustic. With electric, one of the biggest pros is, yeah, the flexibility and the ability to change your sound and play many different things. But with an acoustic, you have a chance to kind of have this raw, down-to-earth sound, and you focus on just becoming good, like raw skill, rather than just getting caught up in all these pedals and compression and distortion and overdrive and amps and EQ and stuff. You don't really know what you're doing when you first start out. So like, how are you going to EQ your amp? Like, what are you going to do? You don't necessarily know all that stuff, and a lot of people get distracted and caught up in that, and they buy too many pedals. I know I did. And then it's like, well, no, you really should focus on your technique and then worry about sounds and things like that. So that's one of the pluses definitely for acoustic. But for electric, you are a lot more flexible, and some styles of music you might want to play thrash metal, where it's like, all right, you got to get an electric guitar. So that's fine, you know? But it's just things to consider. There's pros and cons to each. And also, again, a big problem with electric is the price. I mean, you have to buy an amp, you have to buy a cable, you have to buy the guitar. Those are all more expensive. And you also got to know what you're looking at. Do you want like single coil pickups? Do you want humbuckers? There's a lot to consider there. So yeah, that's one of the things about electric that's kind of a con, but it's really about which one you choose. And now the second point I want to make is also, what style of music do you want to play? Do you just want to be able to kind of sit back and play like country or blues and just some easy playing here and there as a hobby? Do you want to be maybe a serious gigging musician? What do you want to kind of achieve? Do you want to play, again, thrash metal or like heavy stuff or very diverse stuff? Maybe if you just want the simpler stuff, you can get an acoustic to start with. But maybe for an electric, it'd be better in case you already know you want to play styles of music where all your favorite artists are playing electric. Well, then you can start on an electric. It's fine. Another thing you want to consider is, do you want portability? Like with an electric, you have to lug your amp, your cable, your guitar everywhere. That's annoying. Whereas the guitar, you can just take anywhere. So again, if you're going to be an outdoor camping musician, or just if you're going to play at different places and kind of bring your guitar more at party settings or something like that. Or even just if you're gonna gig but be a solo artist at bars and just do acoustic covers, then an acoustic will be more than enough for you. I primarily play on an acoustic right now because of portability reasons. And because I really like acoustic sound. I really like taking very heavy songs and making them acoustic, as you could probably tell from the channel. So this is where I kind of want to stop and ask, like, what is actually your reason? Ask yourself, and maybe post down below, maybe somebody else can answer and give you more insight. What is your actual reason for wanting to buy a guitar in the first place? Is it a gift for someone? Is it just you want to try it out as a hobby? And also, what's your biggest worry when buying it? Do you think that you'll spend too much money if you buy an electric, or are you worried you won't be able to play enough songs if you get an acoustic? Go ahead and post down below, and maybe, yeah, I can respond or somebody else can, and maybe we can give you some advice towards that. And lastly, I just want to mention which one did I start with and my story. Like I mentioned previously, I started with an acoustic, and I still play a lot of acoustic, and mainly for portability reasons I play acoustic, and right now in this pandemic, I'm kind of sitting at home and I can't play electric anyway. Well, I can play electric, but I have a lot of neighbors and stuff, and I don't really have room for an amp, and there's all these things, and I'm not going to go and play with a band because of the pandemic. I kind of don't need more than an acoustic at the moment. But I've played a lot of both, and I've also played a lot of bass, only electric bass actually. And so, yeah, basically my story was I got an acoustic, like I mentioned, my parents got me that. Then I later got an electric because I really wanted to play rock and metal in a band, so I needed that, and that was fine. But yeah, I did get caught in that pit of like buying too many pedals and just too much stuff that I didn't need that I ended up selling most of. And yeah, to be honest, maybe you just don't need to start with an electric. Like if you want the safe route, the easiest thing for you to do is just get an acoustic for 150 bucks, and then just you always have a guitar you can use for the rest of your life basically if you take care of it. And you might just not need more than that. You might just keep your music to a hobby level, like a low sing at home or getting it out during a party type level, and that might be enough for you. So you don't have to invest that much, and then you can later get a nice electric once you know what you're doing, and get amps and things like that. And of course, I also want to put out the option, there is also electroacoustic, right? So there's guitars that are kind of hybrids. You can get an acoustic like mine is actually, you can plug it into an amp and you can use effects on it too. But it won't give you like a heavy metal sound or anything like that. It's just that you can use basic things like reverb and compression and things like that, and EQ. So yeah, those are my thoughts on all that. It's really about what you prefer, but the easiest route probably I'm leaning towards is just get yourself an acoustic. A starter $100 to $200 acoustic, and then that's it. From there on out, you could always get an electric also. It never hurts to have both. So that's really it for this video. Again, post down there, let me know like what are your reasons for wanting to get a guitar in the first place, and if you like this type of content, like this channel, be sure to like and subscribe. I try and come up with content every week, and yeah, until next time guys.